Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Jacob Beck, Cassie Spazelli back there on the ones and twos. We got a lot to get to over the next couple of hours. Is it now or never for Spencer Rattler? I'll give you my thoughts in the second segment today. Glen West going to be with us talking Tigers at 1:30. We'll welcome Colin Jeter, former Tiger, tight end with the LSU Alumni Association, in studio at 2 o'clock, as he is every single week, and Sharief Ishaq down in New Orleans talking all things Saints at 2:30. Playoff baseball is underway from Cleveland. Detroit leads the Guardians 1-0 behind Tarek Skubal, who looks really good early in that game. The Cubs and the San Diego Padres coming up in an hour and 7 minutes from right now. Yankees Red Sox a little bit later tonight. Just a lot to get to in the world of sports. So let's crank it up the way we do every single day. Our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
It's a bye week. It's going to be a long 2 weeks for LSU. Maybe not as much for the coaches and the players, but for the fan base and for us, the folks that are creating content around LSU football, like, it's going to be a long 2 weeks because you're on a sour note right now. I mean, if LSU had gone to Oxford and played well and won, it'd be a joyous 2 weeks. You'd be looking at South Carolina going, that team doesn't look all that great. I mean, you've got 2 losses to play with here. Like, you're a threat to do anything that you want to do. And while that actually does remain true, LSU's goals are all well in front of them. The feeling around the program, in the fan base, in our seat, with the content we create is not a lot of sunshine, not a lot of roses currently. And that's for good reason. LSU has not played well on offense. And I went on my rant yesterday about the running game, about how it's a virus that's taken the entire program down, and I'm not going to sit here and do that again today. But I have dug further into this. There's no new information for us to work off of. The last thing we've got is LSU's anemic effort in Oxford on the offensive side and running the football. So I wanted to go in and not necessarily give you strong opinions in this segment. Those are out there, and there's a time and place for them, but this is not a time for, well, right tackle and left guard, like, you've got to play better. Like, that's an opinion. The backup quarterback needs to be out there. That's an opinion. The quarterback is this and that. Like, these are opinions. I want to deal in actual objective data, okay? Because that can't be argued against. It just is what it is. And when you look at the running game, I went into a little bit of this yesterday. We're going to go into this, and then we're going to get to the passing game and the lack of the deep ball. But you look at the running game. I took the 3 games LSU played against Power 4 competition: Clemson, Florida, Ole Miss. I don't care about Southeastern. I don't care about Tech. But I took those 3 games. Caden Durham, Harlem Berry, Xavier Thomas, Juwan Johnson, those have been the primary backs. Caleb Jackson had a 10-yard run in the game against Ole Miss. But I took the 4 primary backs: Caden Durham, Harlem Berry, Xavier Thomas, in this case, counts as that, and then Juwan Johnson. 60 carries for those 4 guys. 60 in those 3 games. 5 of the 60 have gone for 10 yards or more. Now, I'm not suggesting that the test of a ground game is how often you can get 10 yards on the ground, because that doesn't happen all that often. But it should happen, my opinion, more than 8% of the time. Right? And you're not creating any sort of chunk plays with that. You're just not. You had 1 10-yard run on Saturday, and it came from Caleb Jackson on 3rd and 20. That's objective data. You did it 1 time. You had 2 of them against Clemson for Thomas. You had 2 of them against Clemson for Durham, and then you had 1 against Florida. So that's just, it is a severe lack of hitting a seam and getting up the field. We know, again, some subjective deal, but you can measure these guys on a stopwatch. Caden Durham's plenty fast to run 10 yards. Harlem Berry Just plenty fast, plenty explosive to get 10 yards. Xavier Thomas has been an explosive SEC playmaker for 4 years. And you're not creating those chunk plays, 5 out of 60 in those 3 games. Now, I think more concerning, because I didn't think LSU was going to be a great running team this year. But I did think they'd be an explosive passing offense. And here's the data for Garrett Nussmeier in this passing offense. Nussmeier is completing 81% of his throws that travel less than 10 yards. This is LSU's most effective way to move the ball, is throwing the ball around the line of scrimmage. The percentage dips to 50% beyond 10 yards. Now, that is to be expected. You're going to complete a lot more 1-yard throws than 19-yard throws. But you dip from 81 to 50%. Now, let's look back at last year. Garrett Nussmeier completed 31 passes that traveled 20 yards in the air. He completed 31 passes that went 20 yards. That's 2.3 per game. You're hitting a couple of the big plays down the field every game. This year, through 5 games, he's completed 7 that have traveled 20 yards. What does that break down per game? 1.4. So your drop-off is 2.3 to 1.4. That doesn't seem like a big deal. But when you extrapolate it out, you had 31 of them last year. You're on pace for 18 this year. That's 13 less big plays down the field. 1, they're productive. They gain a lot of yards. 2, they back the defense up to help you run the ball. And 3, which is a little bit more intangible, they're momentum plays. They get your crowd going. They silence a road crowd. They just create a little juice within your team. And you're not doing it. You're on pace to only do that 18 times instead of 31. Nussmeier this year on 20-plus yard passes that travel. That's not a screenplay that gets run for 20 yards. Air travel, 20-plus yards, outside the numbers. So the shots down the sideline, big plays outside the numbers. He's 1 for 13 on those passes. That's 8%. Last year, he was 28% on those throws. 15 out of 54, 20-plus yards outside the numbers. And 4 of those 15 plays went for deep touchdowns. This is the play to Berrien Brown to start the Tech game. This is the play to Chris Hilton back on Saturday where he cooked the defense and Nussmeier couldn't get it out there. You're 8% on balls that travel 20 yards outside the numbers when last year you were close to 30%. You were 28%. And here's the deal with that. And here's where I mix in some opinion, but I could back it up with some data. Your wide receiver core, as it is currently constituted, appears to be more explosive than the group you had out there last year. Chris Hilton is healthy. He was not last year. Berrien Brown is on your team. He was not last year. Nick Anderson, who was a big play threat for Oklahoma, is on the team and playing significant snaps. Last year's group was led by Aaron Anderson, who's not necessarily a deep play guy. He's more of a work the middle of the field guy. And Kyron Lacey, who's not necessarily a big play guy, more of a physical body that helps you down the field. But, of course, you know, the touchdown against Ole Miss last year to win the game, more than 20 yards outside the numbers. You're not getting those plays. Your efficiency level on those throws is almost 0. And, again, this is not the part of the show where I'm going to tell you why I think that is. But if I've got the data, the guy who sits on the 4th floor in the Cubs shirt and just picks through the internet, if I have this data, they've got way more than this. They know where their shortcomings are. And you've just got to be better in some of these areas. And so it's now for them to determine on this bye week, is it this way because of an injury? Is it this way because of poor play calling? Is it this way because of lack of execution? Is it this way because the wide receivers aren't separating enough? Is it this way because the quarterback can't throw it that far? Like, I don't know the answer. I'm not in there in the meeting room. I'm not at practice. I just know that the data suggests you're grossly inefficient just about everywhere. You've got to find something that you're good at. Last bit of opinion on this before we change topic. If you ask me, Hunt, like, what do they have a better chance of getting fixed here? I would say it's pretty simple to me. It's the passing game. I'm not ruling out help and hope for the running game, but you would have to really believe, because they haven't run the ball for 3 years, and your offensive line is healthy currently, and you're just not very good. On the other side, you've got a quarterback who has proven he can do this, and wide receivers who have proven they can do this. They're just not right now. So to me, the best chance is for those guys to return to form rather than the guys up front emerging as something completely new and different. It's not exactly a harbinger of great hope to come here, because you understand that without a running game, you're in some trouble. But if you're looking for a shot of life here and something to get better, they can be better throwing the ball down the field than they are right now. They can do it more often. They can do it more effectively. They have the personnel to get that done. And to this point, they just haven't done it. And that's really, really disappointing. But you've got a week off now. And whether the most important thing is getting some reps and making sure that you're on the right track to getting better at it, or getting no reps and letting the quarterback heal up from whatever injuries are plaguing him, if they are, use this time wisely and make it happen. If it needs to be that Nussmeier sits and Michael Van Buren gets more reps so that he's available to be an option for this team moving forward, so be it. So be it. We'll just have to see, but it's up to them to fix these things during the bye week. I've got a story up at LouisianaSports.net right now that details these numbers, kind of lays them all out, including the Pro Football Focus grades for the offensive linemen, which we mentioned on the air yesterday. Just a lot of numbers that indicate things are not sunshine and roses for the Fighting Tiger offense at this point. That's our Genesis opening drive here on this Tuesday. Tie game up there in Cleveland. It's an infield hit that scores a run with 2 outs for the Guardians. 1-1 against Tarek Skubal and the Tigers. Keep you posted on that as we continue to churn through this Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is that website. Just turned on the TV in here, put it on WBRZ to get ready for the Cubs game in an hour, and they had the weather forecast up, and it had a storm that's out there in the Atlantic, as they call it. It's a fish storm. Not going to touch any land, which is a very, very good thing. But we know at this part of the world that those storms are always a risk for us. So make sure that your insurance policy is ready to respond in the event of a storm. I'll tell you this, if you think you're going to be able to make a change to it once a storm gets in the Gulf, I've got news for you. It doesn't work that way. They'll put a moratorium on any new coverage once that threat emerges. So you got to make sure proactively your insurance program is set up properly, and the Highland Insurance Group will always, always, always help you with that. That's what Jonathan Carver and his team do. They're experts from a coverage perspective. They'll make sure that whether it's property, cyber, EPL, crime, whatever the case may be, whatever policy you've got in place, whatever program you've got in place for your business, they'll make sure that it's with the right market, at the right price, with the proper coverages. That's what they promise to you. That's why they get clients. That's why they keep clients at the Highland Insurance Group. Check them out online, HighlandIG.com. It's the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May at Trustee Properties.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties. You're looking for that hunting land you have always dreamt of having. Daryl May can help you out with that. He's a licensed realtor here in Louisiana and in the state of Mississippi. So whether you're looking in the Felicianas, up in Point Capee, whether you're looking up towards Woodville, Mississippi, up to Natchez, anywhere in the state of Mississippi, you're looking for that land to make your own for this hunting season and the rest of them moving forward. Daryl May is happy to help you out with that. If you're just looking for some property outside the city to make a secondary home or some agriculture, or just to get out of the hustle and bustle like Daryl did. He's born and raised in Baton Rouge, Catholic high grad, decided, hey, going to make St. Francisville home, just a little bit slower pace of living. That sounds interesting to you. Daryl May can help you out with all of that. Give Daryl a call. His cell phone number is 225, obviously, 268-6915. That's 268-6915. Daryl May of Trustee Properties. That's a name you can trust. Let's talk some Saints here. I have a kind of an ultimatum here of sorts. This is not an indictment on his career, but it is an ultimatum. I believe the next 2 weeks are now or never for Spencer Rattler as the prospective franchise quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. Let me be very clear. I always thought it was a very, very long shot that a fifth-round draft selection in Spencer Rattler was going to be the 10-year face of the New Orleans Saints franchise. It's certainly possible. It happens. It's rare. But it was worth a shot. You can't get a franchise quarterback unless you go get one, right? You can't produce a franchise quarterback unless you draft them, sign them as a free agent, or trade for them. And so I thought it was a reasonable risk to take to go get Spencer Rattler. Talented guy, fifth-round pick. Let's see what happens. And at this point, you've got an 0-10 record over basically three head coaches if you count Darren Rizzi as the interim. And I'm not telling you that Spencer Rattler's time is done. I'm telling you the next 2 weeks, it's now or never. Let's go through some numbers with what Spencer Rattler has done this season. He is averaging 5.2 yards per attempt. The only quarterbacks with significant snaps under their belt this year that are worse than that 5.2 yards per attempt are Bryce Young, Joe Flacco, and Cam Ward, who are all in various classes but unproductive nonetheless. Rattler's averaging 7.8 yards per completion. That is very, 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 very low. Chris Olave, Brandon Cooks, Rashid Shaheed are combined averaging 8.3 yards per catch. That is almost unthinkably low when you consider how explosive Shaheed has proven himself to be. When you think about Chris Olave being a first-round wide receiver, you think about what Brandon Cooks has been over his time in the NFL, though he has lost a step. To have them averaging 8 yards, not per air yards, that's per catch. 8.3 yards, that is way, way low. The Saints this year have only generated 4 20-plus yard passing plays. That is dead last in the National Football League. It's lowest among active full-time starters, obviously, and the Saints do not have, to their name, a 40-yard passing play this season. They don't have one in a month. So what you're seeing from all this data is it's a dink and duck offense. It's training wheels. It's keeping everything vanilla. It's trying not to turn the ball over. Don't try to do too much. That's all you're really getting from Spencer Rattler. And the result of that is just not a lot of production in terms of points. Only 6 teams in the NFL have scored fewer touchdowns than the Saints. Only 5 teams in the NFL have fewer passing yards than the New Orleans Saints. So you have kept the training wheels on this guy for 10 professional starts, 4 under this regime, right? They got to come off the next 2 weeks. They have to come off now. You got to see what you've got, and if it continues to be a dink and dunk fest where you don't score touchdowns, you don't gain yards, you don't win any games, then it's time to move on. Spencer Rattler is 25 years old and played a ton of college football. You know these guys that break out late in their college careers like a one-year starter and then jump in to the NFL? Like those guys, they need to play a little bit more. Spencer Rattler started at Oklahoma and then started for half a year at Oklahoma and then started for 2 years at South Carolina. And now he's been in the NFL for a year and a half and he started 10 games. He's 25 years old. For perspective, J.J. McCarthy's 22, Cam Ward's 23, Jackson Dart's 22, Jaden Daniels is 24, Caleb Williams is 23, Drake May is 23. Rattler's older than all these guys. The training wheels have to come off, and you got to see what you do. The ball's got to go down the field. We got to try to start making some big boy throws. Can't just flip everything out into the flat to Kamara. Can't just flip it out into the flat to Rashid Shaheed. Can't check everything down. You got to try to do something, and these are the 2 weeks to do it. You're at home. Listen to the Giants' defense. This is the defense you're facing. They're 23rd in scoring, 25th in pass defense, 29th in run defense, 26th in third downs. This is one of the worst defenses in the National Football League. It's time to go. And you've got an offensive line that, yes, Ruiz is hurt, but like your offensive line's been fairly healthy, relatively speaking. You've got Cooks, you've got Shaheed, you got Olave, you got Kamara, you've got Kendre Miller. Tight end's banged up, but you do have Juwan Johnson. Like, you've got guys, you've got your coach, you're 25 years old, we're 10 starts in, we're a year and a half in. If you can't do it against the Giants and the freaking Titan or the Patriots over the next 2 weeks, I got to go to Shuck. I have to. I can't sit here and dilly-dally any longer. Because, oh, by the way, speaking of age, like Tyler Shuck's older than Spencer Rattler. So I realize that 3 of your next 4 after these 2 are on the road, but I gotta see something. Because there's no development that you're seeing in just flipping the ball out to the perimeter, checking it down, running the ball, punting, and then coming up with 5 touchdowns on the season. It's not enough. And again, I'm not here to tell you that the first 10 starts, which yes, he is 0-10, but I'm not going to hold that completely against him. You were a complete mess last year. In 2 of these games, I didn't expect you to win anyway. It's not Spencer Rattler's fault that special teams didn't even show up in Seattle. And they've been competitive in the other 3 games. So this is not a disaster. It's not a hopeless thing. But you got to set some guidelines here, and you got to see some progression. Or else you got to make a move because you took Tyler Shuck in the second round and you got to see what you've got. And so this is not it's over. This is, okay, let's see it for 2 weeks. Prepare, get ready, put some stuff in the game plan that's a little bit more challenging and challenge him to get the ball down the field, to make some plays. You're not going to win in the NFL just dinking it around. You can if you're Trent Dilfer and you got the greatest defense anybody's ever seen with the Ravens. That's not the case here. And guess what? I mean, Rattler has a lot to lose here because this is his career you're thinking about and maybe his last chance to be a franchise quarterback if nobody else decides they're going to take a chance on him to be that. But as an organization with the Saints, like, if he goes out there and screws up, like, okay, he was 0-10 anyway. He was a 5th-round pick anyway. We got another guy anyway that we drafted in the 2nd round anyway. So it's not like you took this guy 1st overall and you're saying if he doesn't swim the next 2 weeks, we've wasted the 1st pick in the draft. No, it's the opposite of that. You're actually going to give that guy an opportunity. This was a low-risk, high-ceiling play on Rattler. I would suggest to this point it has not borne any fruit. But at this point, I'm giving you 2 weeks to get it done. And if you do, and it looks a lot better, great. And if you don't, and it looks exactly the same or it gets worse when we try to dial it up in terms of degree of difficulty, shucks time. He's 26 years old. Let's go. You're going to at some point need a shot of life in that locker room. And it either comes because you win a couple games because Rattler starts playing better and everybody kind of gets a breath of fresh air and you move forward, or it comes because you're 1-5 and you put in the new quarterback and give him an opportunity to make this thing work. I'm fully aware that Kellen Moore knows a lot more about 1, football, and 2, Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler and their handling the offense and what their reps look like at practice than I do. But I was perfectly fine giving Rattler every opportunity to start this thing. We're a month in. It's one of the least productive units in the NFL with a fairly healthy offense. How much worse can it get? You can't get any worse than 0-4, I promise. So the point being, like, I think it's time to see what you got. And if it's not good enough, that's okay. It's time to move on. And so you're playing 2 of the worst teams in the NFL on your home field, friendly crowd, not a hostile environment. Let's crank up the degree of difficulty and see what you can do. And if it's not good enough, shucks time. 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks for Spencer Rattler. That's what I think. So we'll see. I am excited to watch what happens on Sunday. Because while I don't have a huge degree of excitement watching them play the Seahawks or going to Buffalo, home game against a winnable team, I'm in for that. Let's see how it goes. Looking for Saints content, you can find ours, Hunt on Saints on YouTube, wherever you find your podcasts as well. And Ross Jackson's got you covered over at LouisianaSports.net. Got some great stuff up there today. Always 3-4 stories every day on the Saints from Ross over at LouisianaSports.net. So appreciate him for making that happen over there. It's all free if you're looking for it. Step aside, come back with Glen West, 24/7 Sports. When we're not, come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Closet space is an important deal. Maybe not to everybody, but to some. I didn't know about it in my house. Thought it was okay. Girlfriend at the time, now wife, moved in. Said, this is no good. We moved to remedy that problem, and she's been thrilled. You don't have to move. You locked in a great interest rate. You love your neighborhood, your neighbors. You want to stay there, but you feel like the closet space needs to be jazzed up a little bit. David Duvall and his team are happy to do it. They've been doing it for decades, and they're going to do it customized, timely, and it's going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous finish. You can see the pictures. They're great work at OneBathAndClosets.com. Start your process today with that free consultation. Starts with David, talk to you, gives you a questionnaire, show what you've got, what you're looking for, and he'll put something together that is completely tailored to your exact need and specifications. It's One Bath and Closets. You can find them online, OneBathAndClosets.com, OneBathAndClosets.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May at Trustee Properties.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties, licensed realtor in Louisiana and Mississippi. 1-1, Tigers and Guardians, game 1 of the American League Wild Card Series there in Cleveland. I always get a warm feeling in my heart when I see Cleveland Stadium there for a postseason game. Side of a pretty significant Cubs win back in 2016. Hopefully the Cubs start a little run like that in about an hour from right now. But let's talk some LSU football. Glen West, Go 24/7 senior writer, with us on Tuesdays talking Tigers. Glenn, how are you?
Doing well, Hunt. You don't want to talk about Hurley Brutus, the new LSU basketball 2026 commit?
Physical guard. I like the length. I like the frame. I like the physicality. Just needs to maybe polish up the scoring a little bit. But I'm aware of it. I liked it. I think if I spent too much time talking about it right now, might not go so hot in the executive offices here in Baton Rouge. Let's talk football. You were there in Oxford on Saturday. Just kind of a collapse early from the LSU offense. What'd you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, just exactly what you said. I mean, this was always going to be kind of the litmus test, I think, for a lot of people as to what steps maybe the offense could take in the first month of the season. And you did what you were supposed to do against Southeastern, and you're wondering if you could build off that performance. And instead, they took a massive step backwards. They start off the game with another 3-and-out. And I think the very first half, they didn't have a drive that went over 5 plays, only ran 24 plays in the first half. And really, there were just so many opportunities that were missed too. I mean, you talk about the Nussmeier interception there. That was just a really poor mistake by him. And there were missed throws down the field to Chris Hilton. And there were, obviously couldn't have any pulse of a run game. The offensive line was missing blocks. There were penalties. It was just a complete mess of a first half for LSU on the offensive side of the ball. And by the time they got it together a little bit there in the second half, where they were able to put together 3 scoring drives, they had just left their defense really kind of out to dry, I think. And, they were on the field for 85, 90 plays. And against that Ole Miss defense and against that Ole Miss offense and Lane Kiffin, you're going to give up some points. And it just a situation there where they just ran out of time and didn't really look like an offense that is going to be capable of accomplishing all of its goals. But now you've got these 2 weeks here to where maybe you can start to claw out some answers. Maybe you don't. And if you don't, you're going to probably lose some more games. So this was about as bad as, you could have probably hoped the offense to play against, one of the, the 16th worst defense in terms of rushing again in Ole Miss. And there's just a lot that I think, they need to figure out here over the next couple weeks.
Where do they need to start figuring things out?
I think you have to start with the quarterback. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier, whether it's injury, whether it's just him not performing well, whether it's a mixture of the two, that version of Garrett Nussmeier is just it's a detriment to the offense, to be quite honest with you. They just have not looked the same from a pass game perspective. It was one of the things that you came into the season banking on, taking a big step forward, and instead, it's been a pretty big step backwards in terms of the efficiency, in terms of the explosiveness. And they just I know Nuss doesn't want to talk about what's ailing him. He didn't deny that nothing was wrong with him either in the press conference following the game on Saturday. So, I think there's probably a mixture here of him just not feeling all that great and it reflecting in his play, and certainly the decision making as well has been a little bit more passive. It's been very reserved and putting the ball into really compromising positions as a result. So I think they have to figure out here over the next couple weeks, how healthy can he get, or how well can they get this ship righted here with him at quarterback. Over there.
I think we lost Glen there. Had some technical issues with the internet there. I could sense it was coming, and then it eventually cut out there. So we'll continue to link up with Glen and get his thoughts on that. It's just I agree that the quarterback is the most important thing. You can find some things in the running game, but the strength of the team offensively has to be has to be the quarterback, has to be the passing game. That has to be good. Now, it can't be everything, because then the pass rush is going to get home and you're going to get into 3rd and longs because incompletions are going to hurt you. You're going to have quick drives to put the defense back on the field too quickly. It can't be everything, but it needs to be the backbone. And it's just inefficient right now in really every way. So I think I have Glen back now. I think I agree with you on the quarterback there in the passing game. It's got to get better. What is the realistic hope for what the running game can become here?
I think just you have to start with the devotion to it. Like, I thought that early in the season, in that Clemson game in particular, LSU showed a willingness to run the football. I think they ran it 34 times in that game. You saw it in the Louisiana Tech game. They haven't always been efficient with it, but they've at least stuck with it at parts in the season. And I think probably the most inexcusable part of last weekend is just that they abandoned it pretty quickly. And against a defense that was only rushing 3 against a defense that was dead last in the conference in rushing yards. I think that's just really a bad form and bad game plan. And Brian Kelly admitted as much yesterday when he was talking with Paul Feinbaum. But I think probably for me, the thing that you have to do is just devote yourself to it a little bit more consistently going forward. And then, I'm not asking this thing to be, averaging 10, 12 yards on the ground. I think those days are long behind us now. But I think if you can just get it to be a little bit more efficient and more timely, then I think that's a winning recipe for this group. Obviously, the passing game has to get better, too, to complement this thing and make it to what I think LSU can be when it's at its best. But, 3rd and 3, you should be able to run up the gut and get 3 yards for a first down. We saw in that fourth quarter touchdown drive, which was the most impressive drive of the entire game for LSU. You had Juwan Johnson running for 8 and 7 yard gains. Harlan Berry finished it off with a 9-yard rush and a 6-yard rush for the touchdown. Like, if you're able to get some of those gains a little bit more consistently, then I think you have the makings of a little bit of a crisper run game and one that I think can complement this offense if the passing game can get together as well.
Obviously, Caden Durham's going to take a big chunk of those carries when he comes back, and he wasn't able to play on Saturday. But do you see Harlan Berry's role growing as the season goes on?
I think so, but I also said the same thing about Juwan Johnson after the Southeastern game. Like, I thought he could have had a bigger role going forward. Like, I think that they're in a position right now where outside of Caden Durham, they're trying to find that secondary complementary back that can really kind of take the top off of this thing and really help Durham out. And I think it's just been a different guy each week. Brian Kelly's talked about it a lot, that Frank Wilson likes to ride the hot hand in the backfield. And this last weekend it was Harlan in that fourth quarter drive in particular. 2 weeks ago it was Juwan Johnson, and before that it was Durham. So I think that Durham is going to be your featured guy still. I think he's going to be somewhere around that 10, 11, 12 carry range. It's just about which of those two guys in particular. I think Barry and I think that Juwan Johnson are probably the two guys that you look at as, okay, which one of those two can really help step up and be a little bit more consistent. And look, I like a lot of what Barry does, but at the end of the day, he's a true freshman. And, I think a big part of what LSU likes in these running backs is that they have to be able to pass block. They have to be able to do all the little nuances of the position. And I think until we see that on a more consistent level from Barry, he could have his role a little bit more limited. But he's definitely an explosive piece that I think LSU has to continue to explore opportunities to get him in space.
You feel any differently about the defense today than you did a week ago?
No, I don't think so. I thought that Ole Miss was going to score some points. I thought that they, your question to me last week was if you had given LSU 23 points, would they have taken it? And I thought they would. And I think 24, it's the same thing. I think they would have taken that going into last week. And the yardage was a bit up. They got called for some penalties, but they were also on the field for 82 plays against the Lane Kiffin offense that's just really fast moving and very high powered and has a lot of pieces that can get you off of your game plan a little bit. And so I thought they held up well enough. I mean, they got off the field enough. They got a few turnovers there that were very beneficial to LSU at those certain points of the game. And I think the defense is at the very bottom of the laundry list of issues with this team right now, and I thought they got the most out of them that they could in that situation.
Got a gut feeling on a record for the season now moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much faith in this offense right now, and I don't know anybody that watched Saturday could feel like it's going to significantly improve. I think that they can improve, but I think this is a 3-loss team right now, and if they don't get things figured out, it could be a little bit worse. I mean, they have to get a lot of these offensive issues fixed over the next couple weeks, and they're running out of time to get it done. So I think that's where I'm at right now. Are you kind of in the same boat?
Yeah, I think so. You've played the bad offenses on your schedule, and so you're going to have to keep up. I mean, even Arkansas and Vanderbilt, I don't think are very good football teams. Somebody would argue with me on Vanderbilt, and that's fine. But they can score points. So you can't count on holding them to 10. That's very difficult to do. So and then you go, well, yeah, but you can score on their defense. Well, Ole Miss's defense isn't any good, and you couldn't score on them. So it certainly feels different than it did a week ago. That's how quick things can change in in this sport. It can be wild. But enjoy your weekend off, and we'll talk next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Hunt.
Glen West, senior writer at Go 24/7, looking for team coverage, recruiting coverage. They got you covered over there at Go 24/7. Come back, close out the hour. It's Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is that website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. GV80 is my favorite of the Genesis. I'm a midsize SUV guy. That's their midsize SUV. Of course, I got 2 kiddos, got a couple car seats, got plenty of room for that. Also very comfortable and doesn't feel like you're driving a tank. Now, some of you may like the feeling of driving a tank. My dad drives one of those. It's just massive. I don't even know how people can function in those. But I like the midsize. That's what they've got over there at Genesis. If that sounds like something you'd like to get behind the wheel of, go by and see them. Airline at PQ. See one of their brand ambassadors. Get behind the wheel. If you don't have time or it's a little bit out of your way to go over there to Airline at PQ, well, they'll come to you for a remote test drive. And if you decide that's what you want, they'll deliver the car to you. You don't even have to set foot on the lot if you don't want to. That's part of the convenience of Genesis. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. That is their model. Go by and see them. Genesis of Baton Rouge. Online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com. These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May at Trustee Properties.
Tigers threatening in the 7th, runners on the corners and nobody out. Tarek Skubal, 10 strikeouts against Cleveland. He is the best dude going from the left side. I guess Skeens would be the best dude going from the right side. They're pretty salty. Paul Skeens, not in the playoffs because his team is atrocious. Terrence Google's team got into the playoffs and barely. They backed in a little bit, but they made it in. And we'll keep you updated as those scores continue to file in. Cubs and Padres in 18 minutes from right now from the friendly confines. Beck, how we feeling?
Not great.
Why?
Cade Horton's hurt.
Yes.
Haven't really hit well in the last
Who hasn't
month.
hit well?
Not really anyone.
The Cubs crushed the ball this weekend.
Okay,
when
I'm talking about the last month.
Well, I don't care about September the 1st at this point. It's September 30th.
Okay, but all right. Well, either way, PCA is like the lowest OPS of any.
Had a great weekend.
Qualifying major.
Hit his 30th and 31st home runs.
He did. It took him a while.
It did.
He's hit like 150 in September.
He hit him.
He did.
Michael Busch hitting it well. Seiya hit 2 home runs over the weekend.
Yeah.
Ian Happ is scalding hot.
Nico hit a home run.
Nico, second best batting average in the National League.
If he hadn't gone 0 for 5,
Listen
he had
to me
a chance.
just rattling off these Cubs that are just sizzling right now.
Yeah. I'm
Here's
not
the
feeling
problem.
good about the pitching.
Here's the problem. Problem's not the pitching.
It is the problem.
The problem is the Padres bullpen is absurd.
That is true.
Mason Miller is unhittable. He's not given up a run in 20 innings, which is absurd in Major League Baseball. He throws 103 miles an hour, and he's not even their closer. So if we are not winning after the 5th inning, we're going to lose that game. That puts a significant amount of pressure on the offense to get things rolling early on.
Nick Pavetta's been pretty
Nick
darn
Pavetta's
good.
very good. Here's my thing with Nick Pavetta. This is what I'm hoping for. He's a hothead. He will lose it, and he's pitching to a catcher today who has not caught one pitch from him all year. His catcher, who's caught him all year, is hurt, broke his hand. He's out. I like that. I think Pavetta might blow a gasket today on the mound at Wrigley. I would like that very much.
We need that. We'll need something because
the Cubs have not won a playoff game since 2017.
Yeah, that's correct.
Which seems preposterous because when they won the World Series in 16, after an incredible run in 15, I was like, this is going to be like child's play. We're going to be awesome for 10 years. We were not awesome for 10 years. Those dudes got back to the playoffs one time in 2020, which didn't even count. And they kind of got to the playoffs in 2018. It was a play-in, and they got beat and didn't win one of those games. So I'm very excited. I don't know how enjoyable my game watching is going to be for this game. It starts in 12, 15 minutes, and then I'm on the air.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm going to have to run up, get auto locks posted on the website, and then go take Myers to a haircut. So I'm probably going to have to listen to a lot of the game on the radio or through my phone. A squeeze play. Love to see that. That's playoff baseball. The 2:08 start time is not ideal.
No, it's not.
For me in this
It's not
current
ideal
job.
for many people really at all. I mean, most people work until at least 5 o'clock.
I'll tell you who it's ideal for is for my buddy who's at a work conference in Chicago that he just left the conference.
Wow,
and
you're
went
just,
to
outing,
Wrigley.
you're just outing him on live radio, huh?
I don't know that that his higher ups are locked into the Hunt Palmer.
Well, you never know, huh? Like you always say, you never know who's listening.
You never know. But he bailed. He's going to Wrigley.
That sounds great. Probably nice weather right now.
I mean,
Probably
I
like
checked.
60.
I checked the weather. The high today is like 74, 75.
gracious. Oh,
it's
man.
bright sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. The cold pops at Murphy's right now have just got to be freezing cold. The cans that they serve you up there, you got to love that. Cubby Bear
All right,
popping.
we just need to, you just need to
Old
stop.
Crow.
Just stop, hon. I don't want to hear.
Wrigley's going to be buzzing. I think we're going to beat the Padres.
I don't know.
Padres don't hit lefties. Boyd's lefty. Shota's lefty.
Okay.
We got guys at the back end of the bullpen who are awesome. Keller is great. I just wish he was going to be here for a little bit longer and that my Keller was more than 6 months
That's
old.
true. That's
so that I
true.
could get him something substantial with the Keller on it. But he's a reliever, so he'll probably be terrible next year and not be on the team. And then Keller won't even be one yet. So
yeah, that's true.
At that point, you don't get the jersey.
We had an issue with Hazel. We got 2 Rizzo onesies for her. They're probably too big, but I didn't care. So we need to be on her by 2 o'clock. One of them needs to be on her, preferably the pinstripes by 1 o'clock, by 2 o'clock. She was not having it, not taking a nap, waking up and screaming immediately.
That's not really playoff performance.
It's
by
not.
Hazel.
It's
That's
really not.
Complaining, excuses, and this is more of a St. Louis Cardinals type of
It
attitude
is.
that she's having.
It is.
Just thinking that she's too good for the onesie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't have that.
No, we can't.
That's not what we're looking for.
I'm
in
going to
any
have
way.
to coach her up.
Neither one of my kids own any Cubs clothing.
Which is, I still just can't believe at all.
Myers sometimes takes a nap in Alyssa's Cubs shirt, which is way too big, but he likes to take a nap in it. That's about it.
This needs to be changed, huh? I'm not sure what's going on here, but
I haven't been to Wrigley in eons. So what do I know? When was my last game there? Was in 2022.
Yeah, I went to a game earlier this year.
That's offensive.
It's a great one.
I wish I was there for this one, but I won't be. But hopefully the Cubs win. 2:08 first pitch time from Wrigley. Padres and Cubs will be Matthew Boyd on the bump. Keep you posted on the scores. As I mentioned, the Tigers taking a lead on the Guardians in Cleveland. Tarek Skubal on the mound. Got a lot to get to in hour number 2. Colin Jeter, former Tiger tight end, and with the LSU Alumni Association, will be with us coming up here in 5 minutes. We'll talk to Sharief Ishaq about the Saints coming up in 35 minutes, and I'm going to rank LSU's SEC games from easiest to most difficult, which I did at LouisianaSports.net. I'm going to do that on the air coming up in 20 minutes. So lots and lots to do. If you missed any of hour number 1, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. We certainly do appreciate that. Let's step aside for some national headlines from Sports Center. Come back with Colin Jeter next on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. A quadruple header of wildcard games kicking off Major League Baseball's postseason today. In a matchup on ESPN, Tigers ace Tarek Skubal on top of his game. He's given up just 3 hits. He struck out 11. Detroit leads Cleveland 2-1, bottom 7. At 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN, Red Sox and Yankees kick off their 6th all-time postseason series. Of course, much has been made about the postseason struggles of Yankee slugger Aaron Judge, but considering some of the positives from last fall, the 2-time AL MVP set up to excel this October, believes ESPN MLB insider Buster Olney.
At the end of the last postseason, he was starting to turn the corner. Had that huge home run off Emmanuel Clase in the series off Cleveland. Last 2 World Series games, 3 for 6 with a home run off Jack Flaherty. I think that he has ascended beyond that adrenaline surge that seemed at times to overcome him when swinging out of the strike zone. I think he's going to be great.
Wild star left wing Kirill Kaprizov signed an NHL record 8-year, $136 million extension.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, Caleb Williams has the Bears sitting at 2-2. I'll tell you if Bears fans should be dreaming about the playoffs. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties, licensed realtor in Louisiana and Mississippi. Sharief Ishaq will be here, bottom of the hour, talking some Saints. Time now, talk some LSU with our guy Colin Jeter from the LSU Alumni Association, of course, former Tiger tight end, with us in studio every Tuesday. Colin, how are you, sir?
I'd be a lot better if we're 5-0.
Yeah,
but we're still
not.
here. The sun rose this morning. Another week to get better.
Yeah, they got to. They got to get better in significant ways because not a good offensive effort in the game on Saturday, and the defense, I think, got a little bit tired and didn't play to its standard because of that. In my opinion, we'll get your thoughts on all of it. But we got to start on the offensive side. You played on the offensive side. Just not enough, and that's something Brian Kelly's talked about and that everyone kind of is aware of. But what do you see when you're watching them offensively?
We've talked about it every week. You got to be able to run the ball. I mean, I know it sounds so simple, and you would think we could get that done as we've gone week to week, but it just hasn't happened. We just have, whether it's no push up front, linebackers running through, no real creativity in the run game. It's hard to watch. I'm hoping we can improve, and we're going to have to because we just can't. You can't be a one-dimensional team. A team like Ole Miss dropping 8 on us all game. They've got tight windows to throw into. It makes it a tough recipe to win football games.
It does. What is the thing that is the easiest to improve at when you talk about the running game? You mentioned creativity, you mentioned commitment to it, you mentioned knocking guys off the ball. Where can the improvement come the most quickly?
Fundamentals up front. I mean, you're going to have seams. We got plenty of guys that can run the ball. Obviously, we had Durham out that game. We've got 5 stars behind them. That's not the issue to me. It's up front. There's plenty of plays when you watch the game where either we're not connecting on double teams. We have linebackers running through. It's just ruining those holes. If we can really clean up what we're doing up front with the front 5, making better connections, holding on blocks longer, just half a second to where we can get the running back, instead of 2 or 3 yards to 4 or 5, 6 yards, that makes a huge difference.
I don't want to sound condescending, but it's just, we'll see how it comes off. Kentucky is atrocious. They're awful. They've been terrible offensively for 3 years. They played Ole Miss this year. They ran for 175 yards. Their tailback ran for 6 yards per carry. They're going to fire their coach probably Sunday. They are awful offensively. And it's not like Arkansas, who they can't. You don't have Taylon Green. That's right. He leads the country in total offense. Nussmeier can't do things Taylon Green does. Kentucky's quarterback is Zach Calzada, who's probably less mobile than Nussmeier, and they did that. I don't understand. I never played the game. I don't understand how Kentucky can run for 175 and LSU can run for 54. That blows my mind.
It's certainly a tough pill to swallow. And look, I think it's both sides. Obviously, we've struggled running the ball, but we're also struggling passing it a little bit. It's one thing to be one-dimensional when the other dimensional, like you talked about, is also struggling. We just become so predictable. And as a defensive scheme, look, there's no real threat in the run game. There's no threat of quarterback run, so you can really guess past most plays and still have enough guys up front to handle us. It's just made it really hard for us to get any sort of momentum going on that offensive side.
Defensively, they've been so good the first month, and Ole Miss came into the game averaging 44 a game and scored 24. Now, I've put the caveat out there because I think it's important. That 44 points per game includes blowing out Tulane and playing a team in the opener that has no chance on the field with you. But still, I mean, I think that there's something to pull from that when you consider that they scored in the 40s against Kentucky and Arkansas. So what did you see from the defense on Saturday?
Look, I'm not worried about the defense. We talked about it last week. I think we predicted 28-24. I mean, we gave it 24 points. That should be enough to win you the game against Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin is going to scheme defenses. That's what he does. That's what he's good at. So for us to give up 24, I thought the real issue was just how long the guys were out there. I mean, the first half, I think they got 50. It was like 50 to 20 on
snaps.
On offensive snaps. I mean, you just can't leave your defense out there for that amount of time, and you can't keep going 3 and out on the offensive side. It just wears them out. I mean, they came off of an 18-play drive that luckily we held them to 3. We held them at the end, and then we go right back, go 3 and out, give the ball right back to them. I mean, your defense is gassed. You got to give them some sort of relief to where they can maintain. I thought they played well for the most part. Obviously, some miscues that led to big plays for us. I didn't like seeing the last 5 minutes of the game, Ole Miss just running the clock out on us.
Yep.
You would think you'd get the ball back one more time. But for the most part, I thought our defense played good enough to win the game.
Didn't turn out that way as Ole Miss beats LSU, first loss of the season. Bye week. This is an era of 2 bye weeks. Generally speaking, it was 1 when you played. I don't know if you had a 2 bye week year, if you remember or not.
We did not.
What is the most important thing during a bye week?
2 things. 1, getting healthy. I know there's a big question mark in the air with certain players on our team and their health. I'm hoping this is a week we can get guys some rest. That's much needed. And secondly, you got to self-scout and you got to clean things up. I would love to see 3 practices this week where all we did was run the ball. We've got to get that going. It's just what it's going to take if we want to be a championship team. Look, this team, where we're at, we can go 8-4, no problem. But, if you want to take this team to the next level, you're going to have to be a 2-dimensional offense.
Brian Kelly talked about this last year. I have not heard him mention it this year. He said the first bye week is about development. The second bye week is about recovery because of where it comes in the calendar. And y'all's always came that Halloween weekend before Alabama when you were playing. Do you feel like, I know that you didn't participate in a 2 bye week year, but do you feel like they're going to be really physical this week in practice because your bodies are still fairly fresh, or do you need to get off your feet?
I would prefer to get off the feet, personally. Yeah. I think you take the week to, you do what you have to do. You study, self-scout, you get guys out there. Most of the time when I was here, we actually used the bye week as an opportunity to get some of the backups in and get some quality practice reps and rest the older guys. Look, we're 5 weeks in now. You're at the halfway point. You're going to have some nicks and bumps along the way. I would rather us get guys healthy this week. That to me is priority number 1.
Yeah, we've talked about Nussmeier. We don't know much about that, but certainly you've got some guys up front. Weston Davis got hurt before the game started on Saturday. You had Caden Durham sitting out of the game. West Weeks was banged up entering that game. So you've got some guys that have got to do some recuperating for sure. And so I feel like you work 3 days this week and you kind of take the weekend off. Is that generally how y'all approached it?
Yeah, that's what I'd love to see. Yeah, Monday's rest day. Tuesday, you hit it your hardest day of the week. Wednesday, Thursday kind of coast. Like I said, get some backups in, get them some quality reps at this point in the year, because as the year goes on, they're not going to really see anything. But yeah, take 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, come back Monday, ready to roll against South Carolina.
Colin Jeter's our guest, former LSU tight end, now with the LSU Alumni Association. He's here every single Tuesday. This is one you can't know, but I just want your personal experience. On the outside where I live, in Twitter and in our Bayou Ford chat and in my Twitter mentions and just on the air and in Colin shows post game, like it's pretty toxic around here right now. Like it's just a lot of negative energy. How do you think it is at practice? How do you think it is in the locker room? Is it completely different, or is there a feeling of that?
Look, the one thing I'll say about playing at LSU, as much speculation as there is on the outside, and there's plenty we can see, they know so much more within the building, and they know what's going on. They know how to fix it. There's more of a trust with the guys that are within the building at football ops working to get better each week. They're going to go. They're going to review the tape. Look, there's plenty of things. I'm sure there's 20 plays from last game that if one guy blocks a little longer, if one guy doesn't miss a tackle here and there, the game's completely different. So that's what they're focusing on. Like, let's look at the positive aspect of it. Let's clean these things up, and let's push. Like, we're going to have to play our butts off the back end of the year. That's what it's going to take if we want to get to where we want to go.
Do you feel like there is a need to infuse some life in the running game with either snapping it to Juwan Johnson with Durham back there, getting Michael Van Buren involved in some read option game, doing something where the guy that you snap it to can help run the ball?
I wouldn't mind seeing some direct snaps here and there. We get creative here. We have we'll get Brown in the backfield, or we'll motion him back, give him the ball every now and then. We again still run those quick screens as kind of an extension of the run game. To me, it really comes down to fundamentals, and we're just gonna have to get it figured out. There's no beating around the bush. You have to maintain blocks up front. Running backs have to hit the seams they're aiming for. I mean, that's it. You have to have target lines. You have to have combos that work up to the second level. You have to maintain blocks. That's the difference in going from 3 yards and being 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7 to 2nd and 4, where we have opportunities to go run, pass. You can kind of mix it up a little bit more from there.
This is along the same lines as the question I just asked you, but it's phrased a little bit differently. This is a team that very openly talked about competing for a national championship. I heard Nussmeier talk about it, heard Brian Kelly talk about it. Bo Bordelon mentioned it to us a couple weeks ago, so did Josh Thompson. Like, this is something they're very open about. And when you have the struggles that they've had offensively and now it's cost you a loss, like, how do you think the reaction is to that when your goals are so explicitly stated? Like, I don't worry about Mississippi State responding to their loss last week. Like, nobody in that building thought they were winning a national championship. They played Tennessee into overtime. Like, lost the game. Back at it next week. I don't have any problem seeing them moving forward, but it could be a little jarring when you've got goals that are so high.
Yeah. And look, that's the pressure of being an LSU Tiger. I mean, the fans, the coaches, sports staff, everybody expects us to be playing for a national championship every year. That just is what it is. And the players understand that, and they've just got to be able to move forward. Like I said, you can't – we could sit here, we're 4-1, we can complain about this Ole Miss game, we can complain about the running game, all that kind of stuff. You can either wallow in it and go 8-4 as the year goes on, or you can take this bye week to really make steps in the right direction and come out and beat the brakes off of South Carolina and get your season back on track. That's what I expect to see. That's what I hope to see. That's what I think this team can be. We've just got to get healthy, and we've got to do those little things right to kind of take our offense to the next level.
My experience in doing interviews with players, they don't think about almost anything like fans do. And so fans get, doom and gloom, and these guys are just like, well, when's practice? Decided to go out there with my friends, and, oh, man, 2 weeks, we get to go out to Tiger Stadium and play SEC Saturday night. Let's go. So I'm with you. I expect to see that as well. Tell us about the Alumni Association.
Well, shoot, man. All's good at the Alumni. We've got a few things going on in October. We've got Football Friday coming up against South Carolina. Great opportunity. Come by, here's some fun stories. There's rumors there may be an old Australian punter showing up.
Oh!
Beyond that, we've got Tiger Nation Challenge. It's our big fundraising week to kind of get our operations going. I do want to mention we've got the business network going at the Alumni Association, and it's been great so far. And I had a great review sent to me by one of our members the other day. I'll keep it short and sweet. LSU Alumni Business Network has created real measurable growth in my business, and it all starts with Tigers helping Tigers. And I just can't say how much that means to us, and just proof in the pudding of we want businesses that support LSU, alums of LSU, to come together, work with each other, and expand your individual business from there. Feed off of the passion of the purple and gold in LSU. And that was just such a great example. I'm so glad Kyle Dewey at Mortgage Financial Services gave us that shout out.
That's awesome. Y'all are doing fantastic work. I'm fired up for next week's Football Friday, but we'll talk to you before then, previewing LSU in South Carolina a week from today. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's Colin Jeter, former Tiger, now with the LSU Alumni Association. We'll step aside, come back. I want to talk about the 6 SEC games that LSU has left. I'll rank them toughest to the easiest when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Daryl May, Trusty Properties, that's a name you can trust. If you're looking for a plot of land to make your new hunting camp, Daryl May at Trusty Properties can help you out with that. If you're looking for some land for agriculture, Daryl May can help you out with that. If you're looking for land for a second home or just a primary residence outside the hustle and bustle of the city, Daryl May at Trusty Properties can help you out with all of that. Give him a call, 225-268-6915. Again, that's 225-268-6915. Whether you're looking for 30 acres, 300 acres, whether you're looking in Louisiana, Point Capee, West Feliciana, East Feliciana, or up in Mississippi, up to Woodville, up in Natchez, he can help you out with that. Just give Daryl a call. He's a lifelong Baton Rouge resident, moved up to St. Francisville. He's got all the hottest listings when it comes to land around Louisiana and Mississippi. It's Daryl May of Trusty Properties. That's a name you can trust.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trusty Properties. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May at Trusty Properties.
Talk some Saints with Sharief Ishaq coming up here in about 12 minutes. Let's dive further in the LSU conversation. I did an exercise on LouisianaSports.net. Did this same thing last year with 5 games left. But LSU's got 6 league games to go. You've got a win against Florida. You lost at Ole Miss. You got 3 home games, 3 road games. Outside of the game against Western Kentucky, I think LSU will be able to handle themselves against the Hilltoppers. So I ranked them from the most difficult of those to the most winnable of those. And I want to kind of dive into that and give my reasons why I think that, and it gives you kind of an outlook on what this season's going to look like. Because now we got a month of data on all these teams and kind of what they are and what they aren't. And then we understand like what LSU's best and worst matchup is. Now, we know that a team like Clemson, a team like Florida, that's an advantageous matchup for LSU because those offenses are really going to struggle to score against LSU. LSU's offense doesn't have to do as much to win. We know that a team like Ole Miss with a good offense and a lesser defense, that's not a great matchup for LSU because LSU's offense is not built to take advantage of the poor defense, and the other team's offense can score enough to outpace LSU. So you start with Alabama, I think is the toughest game on the schedule. It's in Tuscaloosa, and I think this Alabama team has really found something with Ty Simpson over the last 3 weeks. He threw for 276 yards and 2 touchdowns against Georgia. And also, most of Georgia's success against the Alabama defense was on the ground. Florida State against Alabama's defense ran for 230 yards, and Castellanos did a lot of that, and we know that Nussmeier can't do it. LSU can't attempt to replicate what Georgia and Florida State did to have some success against Alabama because LSU can't run the ball. So to me, this is clearly the most difficult game on LSU's schedule. You think about the venue, think about the other team, the strengths and the weaknesses. I think that's a bad matchup for LSU in Tuscaloosa. Number 5 on this list, second toughest game, I still think is at Oklahoma. Brent Venables' defense is very, very good. They're second in the SEC in total defense, just 207 yards per game, second in the league in sacks, and they are the best third down defense in the nation by a pretty wide margin. When I look at this LSU offense and I look at that Oklahoma defense on the road, like that doesn't sound good to me. And on the other side, John Mateer, before he got hurt, second in the country in total offense, 351 yards per game. You figure Oklahoma will move it a little bit, and against a dominant defense that Oklahoma is playing at this point, just doesn't feel like LSU's offense matches up great in that one. So I think it's the second most difficult game for LSU. I think the third most difficult game for LSU is actually at home, and that's Texas A&M. Aggies 4-0 for the first time since 2018, and I think they've won in 2 different ways. A&M went to South Bend and won a shootout. Marcel Reed threw for 360 yards, and they topped 40 points in that game on the road. Then they came back home to Kyle Field, and they held Auburn to 177 yards and only 10 points. So that's I think, to me, that shows a team that can win in 2 different ways. While it's a little bit inconsistent, the offense wasn't very good against Auburn, the defense wasn't very good against Notre Dame, they've shown they can do both. They've got both pitches in the arsenal. So I would think this was a terrible matchup for LSU in College Station. Bring that game into Tiger Stadium with LSU's defense. I still feel pretty good about the way that LSU can handle itself in that game, but I do think it is the third most difficult game that LSU's got on the schedule thus far. Then you got the other road game that I've got as the fourth most difficult game, and that's Vanderbilt. Now, this one is interesting. Vanderbilt's 5-0. They beat Virginia Tech. They beat South Carolina. Both those games were on the road in Blacksburg and in Columbia. But their next 4 games are Alabama, LSU, Missouri, and Texas. The Bama and Texas games are on the road. Diego Pavia, second in the SEC. Well, the Vanderbilt offense is second in the SEC in scoring. They're scoring 49 points per game. And so that would suggest that LSU might have a hard time holding Vanderbilt to 14, 17 points. They could, but Pavia and that Vanderbilt team are humming at a pretty efficient clip right now. We'll see what they do against Alabama. That's probably a better indicator of what they do against LSU as opposed to what they did against Utah State. But they're scoring, and their quarterback's veteran, and he wants to make some plays. And, I feel like they're probably going to score 20 points on LSU, 24 points on LSU. Now you've got to come up with that on the other side, which I think LSU can do. But I just feel like beating Vanderbilt 20-10, 20-17 is going to be a hard thing to do the way that they're playing offense. So I've got that as the number 4 easiest game. Now I've got the 2 home games that I think are the easiest for LSU, the most winnable. Second on that list is South Carolina. That's next up on the schedule. South Carolina got drilled by Vanderbilt 31-7 in a game that Lenora Sellers left with a concussion. And then Missouri beat South Carolina 29-20 a week later. South Carolina got right a little bit. They beat Kentucky 35-13, but you're still talking about a South Carolina team right now that ranks last in the SEC in total offense. They're only better than Florida in scoring offense. So they're one of the worst offenses in the SEC right now. That plays into LSU's hands. That's going to be a talking point you hear me mention a lot next week when we're getting ready for the South Carolina game. They're not playing well on offense. And when you pair that with LSU's defense, the way that defense is playing, that becomes a very favorable matchup for LSU with South Carolina. So I like that one in Tiger Stadium next week at night for LSU. And then I think the most winnable game on LSU's schedule moving forward is actually Arkansas. I could see it being flipped, but I'm going to give South Carolina a little bit of a pass on the Sellers game against Vanderbilt where he got hurt. I look at Arkansas. That's a team that just fired its coach. That's a team with a woeful defense and a decent offense. Now, the offense wasn't good against Notre Dame, and the offense turned the ball over against Memphis and Ole Miss. There's a talent discrepancy between LSU and Arkansas that's significant. That game is at home. I could listen to you tell me to flip South Carolina and Arkansas. I still probably trust South Carolina more than Arkansas, and Arkansas is a different team now that they've ditched their entire defensive staff and Bobby Petrino is calling the shots. But listen to these numbers. Arkansas is 118th in the country in total defense, 113th in scoring defense, and those numbers become even more jarring, 118th and 113th, when you realize in the first 2 weeks of the season, they allowed 7 points to Alabama A&M and 14 to Arkansas State. So you had held those two teams to 21 total points in 2 weeks, and then against Ole Miss, Memphis, and Notre Dame, you allowed 1,605 yards and 129 points in 3 weeks. That's why you fired your coach. And Taylor Green still leads the nation in total offense, so that's a bit of an issue for LSU because he should be able to provide something on the offensive side. But I just think Arkansas is so bad on defense and that their program is going to be in such bad shape by the time they get here, having lost a bunch of games in a row and their coach being fired and folks looking at the transfer portal and looking at potential red shirts if you hadn't played 4 games. I just feel like Arkansas is going to show up in Baton Rouge in a bad way. So I've got that as the easiest game left on LSU schedule in league play. Put those in order again. Arkansas easiest, then South Carolina, road trip to Vanderbilt 3rd, Texas A&M at home 4th, at Oklahoma 5th, and then at Alabama, the most difficult game remaining on LSU's schedule. That's the way I see it at this point in any event. So you can read more about why. I've got some more statistics, a little bit more data there at LouisianaSports.net. You can always, as always, read that for free. Tuesday show is brought to you by Daryl May of Trusty Properties. Looking for that land of your dreams to get that hunting property or that secondary home. Daryl May can help you out with it. I'll give you his phone number as I do every single Tuesday. 225-268-6915. Daryl May with Trusty Properties. That's a name you can trust. All right, we will step aside. When we come back, Sharief Ishaq, WDSU, will be with us talking Saints next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is that website. But I invite you to go see them. They're on Segan at Perkins. It's Swing Easy Golf Club. 3 big full bays with those golf simulators inside. They got comfortable seating there. They've got a television, cold beer, wine, and you can do whatever you'd like from a golf perspective in there. You want to work on your game? You can do it on the driving range setting of the simulator. You want to just go hang out, socialize, just kill some time, enjoying some fellowship with some friends? You can do that at Swing Easy Golf Club as well. Put on the simulator any number of famous golf courses around the world right there at the click of a button. Go see them. New concept here in Baton Rouge for golfers of all skill levels. You're looking to work on your game or hang out at Segan and Perkins at Swing Easy Golf Club, online, swingeasygcbr.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trusty Properties. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May at Trusty Properties.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is if you get back up when you fall. You gotta get up. Failure happens to us all, but this is how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is when you get back up when you fall. You better get up. You gotta get up. You gotta get up. I need you to get up. Get up. You witness.
All right, chugging along here, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Daryl May of Trusty Properties. That's a name you can trust. Looking for land, even a secondary home, Bay St. Louis, condominium, past Christian, Mississippi. If that's something you've always thought about but never known really how to explore that, Daryl May can help you out there. He's with Trusty Properties. Again, that's a name you can trust. A lot of Major League Baseball playoff action ongoing. The Padres have struck first against the Cubs. Couple of hits for Padres, pair of doubles, net the first run, but Matthew Boyd dances out of it after that. So 1-0 Padres, bottom of 2. Tigers lead the Guardians 2-1, looking to add on to their lead in the top of the 8th inning. They've got a pair of men on and 2 out there in the top of the 8th from Cleveland. So a lot of good baseball, a lot of low-scoring baseball, as you'd expect. There's still much more to come this evening. You'll have the Reds and Dodgers tonight, as well as the Yankees and Red Sox. So full day Major League Baseball playoff action. I'm hopeful Cubbies can find some bats here in a hurry, because as we talked about at the end of the first hour, the Padres bullpen is a bit of a problem if the Cubs get there. So right now, 1-0, not the end of the world, but we gotta get a run here off of Pavetta if we can here moving forward. Having trouble linking up with Sharief down there in New Orleans. The phone line's giving us a little bit of an issue. So I talked a little bit about the New Orleans Saints back in the first hour about Spencer Rattler and like how the leash, in my opinion, needs to be shortening. And that is, to me, based on his track record, his age, the production or lack thereof that you've seen, and the fact that there's someone right there waiting in the wings. If Spencer Rattler were a first-round pick, a first overall pick, then I would have no interest in pushing him off to the side 10 starts in, a year and a half in, however you want to categorize that. But he's not. The guy that was drafted higher is right there behind him, And there's just not a lot there that's showing immense growth. I told you in the game against San Francisco that I liked some of the things that I saw. I didn't see much progression from that in the game at Seattle, which was basically a wash. And then in the game at Buffalo, which was a competitive game, and one that you feel like if your game plan to go to Buffalo is to kind of dink and dunk it around, you're going to get beat by Josh Allen. Like, let's be honest. You're not going to score enough points against the Bills with Josh Allen playing quarterback if you're content to just kind of try to play ball control and dump it over here, dump it over there, run the ball, which they got the running game going. You got to try to make some plays. And I just don't sense that the Saints are making an effort to make plays. Maybe that's a vanilla offensive scheme. Maybe it's just Rattler's hesitancy to try to get the ball down the field. That's something I can't speak to directly right now. I don't know. But I would be very, very adamant in the next 2 weeks that, like, that's got to change moving forward. We can't move forward with a quarterback who's not going to try to make plays down the field. And the Saints do that as poorly as anybody in the NFL right now. So I'm essentially scrapping last year. I'm essentially saying I don't care about those starts where your offensive line was a complete mess and the organization at the top of the coaching staff was a complete mess, and you had injury to Kamara and injury to Shaheed and an injury to Olave and injury to Taysom Hill, and like you just there just wasn't much there to critique from or to build off of. You were trying to survive week to week. This is a bad Saints team, but it's a team full of professional starters. Like, you've got guys healthy. Olave's healthy. Shaheed's healthy. Juwan Johnson's healthy. Kamara's healthy. McCoy's healthy. Banks, Fuaga, kind of healthy. Banks is healthy. Like, you've got your nuts and bolts here. So let's start seeing some stuff. And if you want to tell me, well, it's tough to do against Buffalo, it's tough to do at Seattle, it's tough to do in the first game of the season, okay, I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. But these next two, the Giants are bad, the Patriots are bad. Like, it's time to see something. And so I think that's what makes this interesting for us. I've said this a number of times, and I think there are a lot of people in South Louisiana that agree with this. Like, the Saints have not been super interesting on the football field the last full year. Since week 3 of last year, after the incredible performances in the first 2 weeks, the Saints have been pretty boring. Now, it's interesting to fire a coach. It's interesting to hire a new coach. It's interesting to put together a staff. It's interesting to draft a quarterback in the second round for the first time in that high in 50 years. There are some interesting things off the field that have happened. On the field, not real interesting. You're aging. You're not very good. You lose a lot of games. It's just not super interesting. But when you start to think of it through the lens of, okay, either this guy's going to spread his wings and fly as our quarterback, or we're going to the guy that we took in the second round, that's when you start to kind of look around and go, okay, that is interesting. And to me, I think we're there. I understand that when you look at the schedule, it would sound a little ridiculous to toss Tyler Shuck into a 3 road games in 4 weeks type situation. Because if you were to give Rattler the 2 games at home with the Giants and Patriots, then you would then go on the road to Chicago and toss a rookie on the road for his first start. Not ideal. And then you would come back for Tampa, who's the best team in your division. Then you go to the Rams, which could be a disaster. And then you play at the Panthers. So that's 3 of 4 on the road in that spot. The bye is after that. But I think it's time to throw the 26-year-old out there, even on the road, if you're talking about Rattler not producing the next 2 weeks. Keep in mind, the Bears' defense just got annihilated in week 2 of this season. So it's not a great unit defensively. It's Dennis Allen's crew. They're not playing awesome. They've won their last 2 games, but again, against subpar competition. So to me, I'm at that point. I'm ready to see him sink or swim, toss him in the deep end. That's Rattler I'm talking about, and see what he can do. Beck, you've heard me, kind of go on about this for 2 different segments now, talking about the Saints. Like, you've got more skin invested in that to me. Like, am I being reasonable with the timeline for Spencer Rattler? Even if they win a game, if you win a game 13-6 because the other team's offense is atrocious, I still wouldn't want to see it. They need to score 28 points in one of these games.
Yeah, I don't see a reason for being conservative with Spencer Rattler other than at this point you're 4 games in. Maybe you're trying to get him just easy throws and help him just become more confident in his ability to be a starter in the NFL. But at this point, you're 0-4. What do you really have to lose? I would agree. I mean, you need to open the offense up. Let him. I mean, you have Rashid Shaheed, one of the fastest guys in the NFL. I don't think they've really targeted him down the field very often. It hasn't been much. It hasn't been nearly as much as they did with Derek Carr. So stretch him out. Stretch the field. You got Brandon Cooks too. He's older, but he's still fast. He's still got speed. He can burn people. So I would agree, man. They need to let Rattler go a little bit. Make it a little bit less conservative in terms of the approach on offense. And if he kind of just still plays that conservative style and is just average for the next few weeks, and if you're at 0-6, I think at that point let's throw Tyler Shug out there. The season's over. It probably is already right now. But let's see what these guys can do with a little bit more of an aggressive approach on offense, because you have to be more aggressive because the defense is playing okay, but they're not going to keep you in games.
As I mentioned in the first hour, the Saints are last in the NFL in 20-plus yard passing plays. They've only got 4 on the season. They do not have a 40-yard pass on the season through a month. These are anemic numbers, and I'm okay with getting Spencer Rattler, accustomed to the Kellen Moore offense on the field. And I wasn't suggesting that he come out of just smoking right out of the gate. But at a certain point, you're 0-10, and you've got some of these statistics that are the worst in the NFL. What are we waiting on? I don't have anything else to wait on. So I think it's a big week for Spencer Rattler. I think it's a big week next week for Spencer Rattler, and I'll be here kind of calling for a change if things don't drastically improve and get a little bit more explosive against 2 of the worst defenses in the National Football League. So bummer that we couldn't connect with Sharief. Thankfully for me, I'll get to connect with Sharief tonight. We're going to do a little interview this evening, talk a little LSU during the bye week, but our phone lines wouldn't cooperate with us, so we'll have to do that on Sharief's time, not our time here. MLB playoff action is underway, as I mentioned. I got the Guardians and Tigers. What a disaster for the Guardians. Had the tying run on third with nobody out. Ground ball back to the mound, and the runner just gets caught in no man's land. You either got to go or you got to not go, and he did both and then stopped halfway and was tagged out. That's going to be a brutal out there for Cleveland, as they've now only got 4 outs left in game 1. Cubs and Padres. Padres lead 1-0 after 2 innings. The Cubs strike out every time I look up. I've seen them strike out, so that's not
Nico got a hit, Hunt?
He did, but everybody else has struck out. So
Michael Bush hit a fly out to center, I think.
He did. But
so not everybody.
PCA struck out.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
Seiya struck out.
Happ struck out.
It's not great.
Kelly struck out.
We'll come back and close things out on this Tuesday next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. You'll never strike out with Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Luxury brand at a reasonable price. That is the model at Genesis of Baton Rouge. It's got America's best warranty. Comes with 3 years of complimentary valet maintenance. 3 years, complimentary valet maintenance. You cannot beat that. Also, when you're thinking about roadside assistance, you get 24/7 enhanced roadside assistance, 5 years no matter how many miles are on that car. These are just some of the perks that come with their incredible line of vehicles. Everything is first class over there at Genesis of Baton Rouge. The facility is first class. The staff is first class. The line of vehicles is first class. Also, you're talking about the warranty is best in the game. So check them out. Airline at Piku. Online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Bend Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May at Trustee Properties.
.104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, along with First American Bank and Trust, are teaming up to honor our military and raise funds for Folds of Honor. This nonprofit organization provides scholarships to the spouses and children of soldiers who were killed or disabled in service. To donate to this important cause, visit our website at 1045ESPN.com. Today is the last day, so please go over there to 1045ESPN.com. Folds of Honor, to honor their sacrifice and educate their legacy.
Awesome stuff here from the team at Guarantee with Folds of Honor. Can get involved. Surely appreciate if you do. I was dead wrong in the last segment. It was the 9th inning, not the 8th inning.
Yep.
My eyes, not good.
Game over.
And really the only time I can really tell my eyes are terrible is the scoreboard on TV.
Yes.
I feel like I see the world reasonably well. I don't notice that I have issues seeing scoreboard numbers.
Small things.
Yeah, it's bad. But like I can read all this fine on this paper in front of me.
But it's right in front of you. It's not too far away.
It's bad looking up there. But Tarek Skubal was awesome. Worked into the 8th inning, had 14 strikeouts against Cleveland. Had to figure that this is one that the Tigers were going to win and really had to win with Skubal on the mound. Cleveland being at home the next two, no Skubal. They've got a chance to get back in that one. That's kind of the way I feel about the Cubs today. If the Cubs win today, San Diego's cooked. They've got Cease and Yu Darvish, who are terrible. And the Cubs should be able to win one of the two at home. If the Cubs lose today, I'll still feel like they've got a shot, unless they burn their A relievers, in which case that would be a disaster. So I think that the Cubs will be okay if they lose today. I think the Guardians are okay losing today. You'd like to win the first one at home, but the road teams with their aces on the mound, I think, have a lot of pressure on them. Can't wait tonight to check out the Yankees and Red Sox. And Hunter Green pitching for the Reds against I think Blake Snell for the Dodgers.
Yep.
That should be pretty salty as well.
Man, that'd be nice if the Reds could get in there and knock around the Dodgers. Man, that would be something. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if the Reds
The thing is that there won't be a lot of knocking around in that series because the Reds have elite pitching.
They
can't
hitting.
hit worth a flip,
No,
but they can pitch like crazy. So we'll see. I'm curious to watch all of it this evening. I'm going to miss a lot of this Cubs game as far as watching because I've got to go take Mars to get a haircut. But
yeah,
other than that,
he probably needs one though. Honestly, last time I saw his hair, it was like a mop.
Yeah, she's more concerned about the length of the hair for family pictures for the bye weekend
the
and
bye weekend
the Halloween weekend.
Yep.
So this is the time where apparently if they get it, she gets it cut. It'll look the best 4 weeks.
Yes,
from now.
it's all a science hunt.
I have no say in any of that whatsoever. I just am told.
I'm surprised
to
by
drive
that.
the car.
I figured you would have a very big say and very good big opinion about that. Huh?
No, I have no opinion.
Okay.
My opinion is I'd rather watch the Cubs. But that opinion was not given
invalid.
Any consideration whatsoever.
Invalidated.
Let's play Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer. Still warm out there. Still a chance to get out to the pool, get out to the lake, get out on the golf course, get out on the water, do some fishing, whatever the case may be. Looking for a light beer? Flight by Yingling should be your first pickup. Just 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, delicious flavor that you're looking for from a light beer. Check it out, Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
All right, first one. Cubs get it done, Hunt. Take it or leave it.
I need more details to that.
They're going to win today.
Leave it.
Wow.
Leave it alone.
They're already 2 innings in.
You have little faith.
I'm looking at, they're losing already, and no one's going to score off the Padres bullpen. I'm told that it's impossible. So,
you're told.
That's what the everyone who watches the Padres all the time says. I listened to 4 podcasts between yesterday and this morning. So you have to get a lead, and they don't have a lead. They're, in fact, losing. And Pivetta looks very, very good.
Michael Busch is about to hit a home run.
Calling
it right now.
That would be awesome if he did do that. But right now, you've got nothing, and you're almost through 3 innings. So it's a bad deal.
We're good. They're going to win. I already showed you the photo. We got Hazel in the onesie. She looks great. She's smiling, which she doesn't even do that much right now. She's only 7 weeks old.
Is there any indication that she was in the onesie when they got the 2 hits that scored the run?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, Hunt. She put the onesie on, and I got the photos as soon as Matthew Boyd got the 2 outs he needed to get out of the jam. Okay?
That was good.
So that was good. So that's what we're looking at here. Now the Cubs need to get a hit. Michael Busch is getting a home run, and then the Cubs are going to win 2-1.
Michael Busch, very good player.
Very good. Needs to be starting more. Let him hit against lefties. I don't care about the splits.
Well, the Padres don't have any lefties, so you don't have to worry about that.
That's good. All right, last one real quick. Sauce Gardner, cornerback for the Jets, said after the game that referees are harder on him because the Jets are a losing team. He said, I watch football all the time, and I just feel like, I don't know if this is wrong to say, but I think I get called for more stuff based off of us not winning, said Sauce Gardner, who, of course, just signed a really massive extension for the Jets. But Sauce getting picked on by the refs. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it.
Leave it alone.
But I did hear a humorous anecdote from one of the folks at Barstool. There were a significant amount of New Yorkers who decided to fly down to Miami to watch the Mets finish their season against the Marlins and then the Jets play the Dolphins. You know, a lot of the New York fans, you're either a Yankees, Giants, Knicks, or you're Nets, Mets, Jets.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it generally goes. So the Nets, Mets, Jets crew flew down, watched the Mets choke on a chicken bone against the Marlins and finish their season missing the playoff with the second highest payroll in baseball. And then watch the Jets lose to the hapless Dolphins.
Man, what a terrible.
I hope the weather was good.
Existence.
Hope they were able to get some seafood down there, Joe's stone crab, some key lime pie, something down there.
Michael Busch just fouled out to first.
Their teams were not winning a lot, and that's a long way to go to watch your teams just choke. So,
I think you're right, huh? I think they're going to lose.
Oh, well, that was quick.
Yeah, well, Michael Busch just fouled to first. He didn't hit a home run, so
that was we needed this.
We needed
this one exact player to hit a home run.
We needed that in that moment.
There's 8 other guys that can hit a home run.
Well, I would not suggest that Nico Horner is going to hit a home run.
He could.
Yeah, he
hit
could.
this year 3.
Is
4?
the wind blowing out?
No, it's not. It's
he hit like
it's fairly neutral.
He hit like 4 at Minute Maid Park, which has the shortest porch in
It does.
left field in the majors.
Not Minute Maid Park anymore.
That's true.
Name that park.
Dakin or something. Dakin Park.
It's always the juice box.
Yeah, it's the juice box.
There's some that it's just like when they tried to make Florida's arena like Exact Tech Center or something. No, it's the O-Dome.
It's the O-Dome.
I'm just not going to change that. I very rarely give Auburn Arena Neville Arena now that somebody
Center,
put it.
the Crypto.com
Arena.
God,
yeah, I'm just not gonna do that. Are there any others that meet that criteria? There are some name changes that I fully embrace, like Kroger Field, because it's just
the Superdome. Obviously, I mean, it doesn't matter what the sponsor is.
I just call that the
Superdome. It's the dome.
I did have to look because they got the college football playoff in a couple years.
Yeah, 28.
I had to look and see if there's an apostrophe in Caesars. There's not.
There's not. Just
straight on through the S.
Okay. 2028. Let's see what.
The more you know.
Yeah, who's going to be the quarterback for LSU in 2028? There's no telling.
I mean,
no
somebody
chance.
that's currently at Wisconsin or something.
Maybe.
Probably.
Will Brian Kelly be coaching LSU?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, probably so.
All right. Our Tuesday show is brought to you by Daryl May of Trusty Properties, a name you can trust. Looking for land, Mississippi or Louisiana, Daryl May can help you out with all of that. All right, that's it for us. Catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Hunt on LSU, Hunt on Saints are our specific team YouTube channels. A lot of LSU talk today. Not a lot of it framed very positive. A lot of Saints talk. Not a lot of that framed very positively either. We got to get to something positive towards the end of the week. Matt's going to drive you home next one after further review. I'm going to go watch the Cubs. Hopefully they score some runs. We'll see. See y'all tomorrow.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient.